Hey, what's up, guys? How are you doing on this beautiful Thursday morning? What I want to talk to you about today is the Idaho 4 case. And if you guys remember in my last video, I was talking about exactly why Brian gave the deputy his phone number, and why I find it kind of confusing, because I was never asked for my phone number when I got pulled over. I've been pulled over for speeding, for the same thing Brian did, which was a seatbelt ticket. It just confuses me on why they would ask for his phone number and why he would give it up. Because they weren't going to call him. The only thing I can think of is they were going to investigate him. And mind you, this was 4 months before the tragedy. Which I find truly odd. They don't want to release the body cam footage, and it makes you wonder exactly why they don't want to release it. They're saying it could affect the Idaho 4 investigation. Now, what does that mean? It could affect the Idaho 4 investigation. Did he have something on him that day? This is all perplexing because the crimes took place, months later. Could he have possibly mentioned about having more than one phone on him or in his car? Is that why it might affect the investigation? Could he had maybe a second cell phone on him? And he could have mentioned that to the deputy that had pulled him over. Hey, I got this second phone on me. Or could he have had a knife on his belt? Could that be another reason? Maybe a buck knife in a sheath, K-bar knife. We don't know. We weren't there. The PCA reads they found the car on the 29th. And it was found by two Pullman campus police officers. One did the query, and then 30 minutes later you had another officer driving around the parking lot looking for white Hyundai Elantras. Now, mind you, the be on the lookout came on November 25th. They found the car on November 29th. But what's even more weird is the fact that Brett Payne, who was the lead investigator, wasn't notified that they had a possible person of interest for almost 7 weeks later. That makes me wonder what's going on with that. Why they didn't notify the lead investigator that they had a possible person of interest 10 minutes away at WSU. Now, I'm not saying Brian's guilty. I'm not saying Brian's innocent either. It's innocent until proven guilty. I'm a truth seeker, and that's what I'm doing. Is I'm trying to track down the truth. And the same day at approximately 12:58, WSU officer Curtis Whitman was looking for white Hyundai Elantras and located a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra at Brian's apartment complex on the WSU campus. Now, here's the question now. Exactly why was his Hyundai Elantra passed over. Now, don't tell me it's because he had his tag switched from Pennsylvania to Washington, because when the officer that had queried the Elantra on the 29th, it came up a Pennsylvania tag. And then when the officer that was driving around looking for the Elantras, it had a Washington tag on it. And a lot of people think that's kind of suspicious that he gets his tags changed 3 weeks after the unalivings. And they couldn't bring, if he was a person of interest, guys, from November 29th, that's when they found the car. December 7th, he became a person of interest. Okay, from December, mind you, from December 7th to December 15th, that's, almost 3 weeks that he was allowed to roam around and do what he wanted to do. Could they not have brought him in for questioning, or say, hey, can you come in for some questioning? Can we get a little bit of DNA? So that just makes me wonder exactly why they didn't pull him in right after he became a person of interest on December 7th. Why they allowed him to leave the state and drive 2,500 miles with his dad from Pullman to Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. And exactly who was tracking him? Was the FBI tracking him? Because his tag was picked up on a tag reader in Loma, Colorado. That wasn't the NPD tracking his car. That could have possibly been the FBI. So, which leads me to believe is those 2 traffic stops there in Indiana was partially controlled traffic stops. Now the FBI is stating that they had nothing to do with it and everything else, but I think they did have something to do with it, because it makes no sense why he would get pulled over 2 miles apart for the same thing, following too closely. So it had to been some type of controlled stop, maybe to get his touch DNA off of his ID. And if it was a controlled stop, why didn't they arrest him right there? Because he was just a person of interest. He wasn't a fugitive yet. So, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, he was a fugitive from justice. That's why he was leaving. That's why he was going from Pullman to Albrightsville. He was a fugitive of justice. No, he wasn't. He was going on Christmas break, with more than likely having plans to come back after Christmas break was over. But, I'm still baffled on exactly why they didn't tell the lead investigator about the person of interest for 7 weeks after working hard to find a suspect in this case. And see, here's the thing, though. If they don't have any type of evidence showing his vehicle around the home, then it's going to look bad on the prosecution. And if all you have is a video of a white Hyundai Elantra driving around the area and driving around the city, that does not even go anywhere near the King Road home. But what will make me upset, guys? What will make me upset is if they actually have evidence of his car being spotted around the neighborhood on video around the time of the murders. That's going to upset me, because Brian stated he wasn't anywhere near the house or anything like that, because we don't know exactly what type of evidence the prosecution has, because it is 68 terabytes of data, and the 68 terabytes of data is more likely video surveillance. Now, yes, Ann Taylor did kind of debunk Brett Payne on the stand about not finding Brian's car anywhere near the areas that he said that they were on video. And Ann Taylor has a very valid point, and wanting to know exactly how they zeroed in on her client, and she believes her client's 100% innocent. And it's a very legitimate sentiment. Exactly how they zeroed in on him when all they had from the victims is 117 pieces of evidence, and a knife sheath that had a molecule of DNA on the button snap. And they basically drove 2,500 miles to take his dad's DNA out of the trash can, because it took them 6 weeks to get Brian's back. It took them 48 hours to get his dad's back. So what's the disparity in the time? You have 6 weeks compared to 48 hours. So what's the disparity? And I just want to say, you guys have an amazing day. This is Robert with True Crime Podcast, and please, if you like this content, leave it a like on your way out. And while you're doing that, it would make me happy if you hit that subscribe button. For more good content coming out. You guys have a good Thursday morning, and peace out, guys.